Hello everyone. Welcome. With this, we come to the last session of the day. This session is from Bhubaneshwar chapter. We have Nilabadi Samantre. He is going to speak about AI analytics powering the future business. Before starting the session, let me thank uh, our founding sponsor, Innovation Roots. Innovation Roots is a leading consulting and training service provider, helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services and well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. For more information, visit website www.innovationroots.com. So, do's and don'ts. Please request to join 5 minutes before the start time. Use high quality speakers. Please keep your Microsoft microphones muted and video disabled, as this may cause disturbance to the speaker. Questions will be taken on chat box. Please feel free to post it on the chat box so that at the end, facilitator will help and read out the questions to the speaker as per the time available. Please fill the feedback forms for the after the event to help us understand more about the event management. We appreciate your cooperation. With this, I would like to invite Nilavdi. Nilavdi, can you please come on the screen, please? I'll make you
Yeah,
your presenter.
I'm just trying to switch on the camera. Just give me a minute.
Yes,
Yeah, hi.
yes, I can.
Yeah.
Hello,
So,
welcome.
good evening, everyone. Hello, Prashant. So, I think after a whole day session, people might be a bit tired, but I will try to make it interesting. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Prashant. And just a brief about myself. I have been in the data analytics space for almost my entire career. So it spans close to 20 years. I started with the data. Traditionally, it was Oracle and Developer 2000, and then we did some data warehousing and stuff. I was with different organizations like HP, Agile, Satyam, and IBM right now with CSM. So that's a brief about myself. And in CSM, I had the data and analytics as a division, as well as implementation and also vertical. That was a brief about myself. I will just quickly share the screen and we can get started. Okay. Thanks everyone. So as I said, I belong to CSM Technologies, and that's the reason why you see that CSM written there. Otherwise, it's all about Agile as an organization. So analytics and AI powering the future businesses. That's a topic that we are going to run through today. Having said that, there are a few other things which I would show as a agenda item. It's about, we'll give a bit of introduction, which we did, and then we'll see a high level understanding of data analytics architecture. That is very important because we get an understanding is what data analytics is all about. And so we understand the whole journey of data analytics and how that eventually does merge with AI. Impact of AI and analytics in the business world, that will include the future of AI analytics in the business, that is future businesses. Impact of AI analytics in the government sector, that is one of the topic we'll quickly touch base. Just to highlight my organization currently, CSM. So 90% of the project that we work are for the government sector, and the data analytics AI implementation, we do that for the government sector. And as I said, prior to this, I was with IBM for around 14 years, where I was doing a lot of implementation, but that were not for government. They were all for different sectors like media and entertainment, telecommunication, then industrial sector. So they were all across all different kind of sectors. But yeah, finally, we will see a bit of how the global market share looks like, and then about the other emerging technologies in the landscape. Okay, so I think almost all of you would be well versed with this, but just to reinstate, typical data analytics architecture. So we see that we traditionally have all the data sources here on the, we show it as a left hand side, where we get different business transactions, network ADRs. So this example was for a telecommunication data warehouse. So network ADRs, network probes, or that could be billing, mediation, any kind of those kind of data. That could be social media data, connected devices could be there. And of course, the web logs or cookies, any of those data can be there. That is all ingested in ETL. Then that's typical data integration, and that lands into a data warehouse or a data lake. So data lake is when we just have the data in its native form without doing anything. So that's the data lake. Or if we have, we want to store it as a data warehouse in a denormalized form in facts and dimension, or the way we want the schema, then that's a data warehouse. And then finally, we have the reporting, which is we show different graphs, analytic charts, trends, and we do different kind of 360-degree view of our data. So this is a typical data analytics architecture. And ETL process, as you know, extraction, transformation, and loading, and that's what we presumably do. And ELT is when we do the same thing, but first we extract. So it is relatively newer, that is the ELT, than earlier ETL process. ELT, where we do, for example, for a Hadoop, what we do is we extract, load, and then we do the required transformation before we get the analytics and pure data system analytics from there. Finally, this is what the entire data analytics architecture looks like, or that includes your traditional data warehouse, but it is beyond that. So it's data sources, then the staging area, it can be a pull or a push of a data. And then comes your data warehouse, where you have the system of records, metadata, of course, raw data, summarized data, or the aggregate data. Then you create specific data marts, that is for purchasing or sales, inventory, marketing, whatever you want to do. And from that, you have specific users to cater to. They might want some analytical cubes, they or display in reports, or they want to do deep mining from there, or they want to uncover some patterns and trends, insights. That's come to the mining part of it. Okay, once you are done with your data stuff, then that's what the evolution comes. That's the AI, the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence as an input, it can it's the superset which drives from, say, deep learning, predictive analytics, machine learning, or classification and clustering. You do some NLP, you get some robotics inputs, image recognition, or uh, videos, or machine visions, and then you generate AI or artificial intelligence out of that. And this is a traditional, a typical AI architecture or artificial intelligence architecture. This is what the architecture McKinsey uses, a reference data architecture for AI innovation. So here, traditional, you had seen the data analytics architecture. So difference here is this central part is your the whole thing which we saw out there, the analytics part. But AI is more than that, because it sits on the top of the pyramid. So you have cloud-enabled data platforms. You get some real-time streamings, Kafka or whatever streaming you want to do. You get your structured or unstructured data that gets into your data lake, and then you do your, required, if you want, you do the analytics, and then there are some APIs which pulls data from your data lake, and finally you consume the AI from. It could be using your mobile or web CRM, physical channels, whatever you want the AI to work. That's how it is structured. And you have different operations on the vertically. We see machine learning operations, data operations that you do all through this. This is the overlap, for just for a clarity, so that everybody, keep hearing about so many terms. How does it fit in with each other? So artificial intelligence here is a superset which includes machine learning as within it, and inside it is deep learning. So they are natural progression deep learning, which is typically like the Tesla car, self-driving car kind of a thing, that is engulfed within machine learning. Machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence. So and of course the NLP, natural language processing, and cognitive computing and stuff are all part of that. uh, Cognitive computing are typically like when you make the machine learn. It's like, for example, if you have tickets, you're supporting an application, there could be 50 or 100 kind of similar errors that keep coming in a different way. So the system keeps learning that if this problem happens, and this is the solution for that. It is a self-learning process, that is cognitive computing that we talk about. This is the whole gambit of artificial intelligence. It actually doesn't engulf the big data or data science, but yes, it cuts across all of that. So the other side of it is data science, within which we get our analytics, predictive analytics, statistics, business, traditional business intelligence and stuff. So this is how it comes across. Impact of AI analytics on future businesses. That is what we were, we just want to have a good understanding of. So it's it cuts across almost all sectors in the private industry, and uh, with time we see that there is more and more embracing of analytics and artificial intelligence in almost all sectors. During this COVID times, I mean, across the world, there was a lot of use of analytics and AI. Analytics and AI was used to do a lot of prediction, including how the infection is going to spread, what are the different section of the society who get infected. For example, based on the historical data, the insights were found that the children have better immunity, and globally that they were less infected than adults. Similarly, certain race of people were more getting more sick than the others, and so there were a lot of trends and patterns seen, which also enabled in the creation of the vaccines. So there is a lot of usage of analytics and AI in processing massive information and finding out different kind of solutions, whether it is predictive healthcare or it is some IoT enabled devices, which all the hospitals, all the modern hospitals full of IoT enabled devices out there. So if there is if a patient is in a ICU, then there will be a lot of things which is automatically taken care of to alert the doctors and all if there are any issues, including the alert messages to the phone of the doctors if there are certain diagnostic symptoms that comes up. Just to highlight one thing, in early 2020, so I have a slide also later on that. We also, when COVID started, we did some, in fact, for Odisha, our company, our organization only did the COVID analytics. So I will talk about it. There is a case study. I will show it down there. Augmenting customer experience, of course. So you'll be surprised, when I was going through Gartner, I saw that 15% of almost all customer interactions. Yeah, okay. So I thought you were asking me to post some questions. So thank you. Yes. So 15% of almost all customer interactions that we do are handled by AI, not necessarily only in India. This is a global average. So which is very exciting to know that yes, the a lot of when you pick up the phone and you probably have, it's not just a chatting, it's also the voice chat I'm talking about. You would have spoken to a chatbot rather than an actual human. That's what it says. And the key market players out there, they are of course IBM, Google, Microsoft, Oracle, and few more from different places, including Korea and UK and other places. And this is the market share or the market size. That's going to be $2.8 billion by 2024. That's only the consumer experience part of it. That's a pretty big market out there. It's just expansion of what we talk about. So as said, natural language processing algorithms have found their way into customer-facing helplines. So they convert whatever you talk, your just the natural language, it converts that to the machine language for its better understanding, collect the information, and with every interaction, the system learns automatically, unlike the traditional ones. So one of the examples is, whenever you log into the Netflix, more or less every time the way you want to see the series or the movies, that's what it pops up, even in the Amazon. So that's because that's where the analytics and the AI plays in the background, of course, with the data. The kind of movies you like, if somebody likes to watch some gangster kind of movies, it keeps on popping that. or similarly tailored. And interestingly, they also share a lot of data. So something which is a trend you use in your Netflix, automatically you will be surprised to find that even when you log into a Hotstar, it will show you similar kind of movies, because they do have, there is a lot of sharing of information where the intelligence can be generated from, depending on if it is put back in your browser or whatever places, or other social media. Banking, financial services, yes, that is one of the areas where there is a lot of AI involvement, because fraud analytics is a very big area. Because any suspicious activities that can be uncovered using AI, because humanly it is not possible to detect all kind of fraud, because we keep hearing about a lot of scam and all, but with times it will just get reduced, because whichever bank, there are some uh, funny business happening. So there are some alert mechanism. If a high-end tool is implemented, then there, whenever there is a deviation in the trend, so it can see the trend over the last 10 year, 15 year, wherever the data is, and if there is any deviation from the way this financial activities has happened, it show throw up the alerts. On similar lines, a lot of times you might have seen that whenever you do some financial activity in a new city or a new place, sometimes it doesn't work. It will send you an alert whether you're using or not, or you might even get a call from the call center when there is some you are making some big you can financial transactions from a new place. You may not be using your own IP address, loan location, or some other places. So all that thing is all interrelated, and if you know, on similar lines, if there is a credit history somebody has got, then it will find out whether to offer a loan or not. At the same time, if somebody is probably going to leave as a customer, then churn propensity can also be found out from this. Logistics is another area where it can predictive analytics can play a good role. It can tell you the inventory required by a vendor and optimize the different routes. So there can be 5 different routes of how your logistics operates, but it will optimize it in the overhead cost, and it can do that even in the real time. So that is a use case we have done in mining, wherein the real time optimization of the route. If there is a road jam, then the truck might take a different route. So those kind of thing. Of course, we all of us use Google Maps and stuff. At the same time, a IEEE integrated command control center can leverage your real time probes and optimize your routes, which can be the best route for you. Uh, Retail, yes. The best example is Amazon. It's autonomous shopping, or if few of you have seen, if not, you can see it in YouTube. Amazon Go has already opened several stores where you can just get into that and come out without any human interaction at all. Just go, you pick your stuff, and it will kind of recognize and automatically debit from your own account. You just pick up stuff and leave. You just walk in and walk out without even using your credit cards. Do nothing. Just go pick the stuff and go out, and it will all be done. Cybersecurity. Yeah, cybersecurity is why we keep talking about cybersecurity. Because cybersecurity is also in place where analytics and AI can play a lot of key. It's pretty key. How, I will tell you just as an example. So that there are this is a niche area. There are few organizations who create anti-bot solutions. By anti-bot solutions, what I mean is, you would have many of you might have gone shopping, or maybe booking your travel. You go to Make My Trip, Yatra.com, and ClearTrip.com. So some of the sites, they guarantee you lowest hotel prices or lowest flight prices or whatever, or money back or something like that. So how do they know that that is the lowest price? Because those sites, they use bots. Bots will basically it's like a RPA, robotic process automation. It will read the screens and it will figure out the different prices, and then offer the least price for that particular time on that day for hotels or whatever. So the anti-bot solutions are, for example, Booking.com. So they have implemented an anti-bot solution called Perimeter X. This company Perimeter X, what they do is they will ensure that nobody can actually, no bot can actually read the prices on Booking.com. These are so booking. So say for example, Yatra.com offers a minimal price, but they will not be able to read Booking.com prices. They might be able to read other prices, not Booking.com, because they have recently implemented, not recent, but some time back, they have implemented the anti-bot systems into that. That's just one of the examples. So it is not necessarily always virus attack, but there is competitor attacks and things like which happens. Not necessarily malicious, but at the same time, yes, competitive or the competitor intelligence is also stolen. So not exactly stolen, that's a strong word, is taken because it is anyway freely available. Okay, so moving on, transportation, yes, transportation is another area. I mean, these are all the major industries globally. So autonomous driving, all of us love to hear about Elon Musk. Again, he has become the richest man. So Mr. Musk and the Amazon boss, they keep on switching their places. That's just man of the world. But I think now he's almost $100 billion more than Jeff Bezos. So difficult to catch up. But yes, Tesla, self-driving cars, which I said, deep learning, Uber looking into deploying autonomous vehicles and stuff. So all this is nothing but transportation using deep learning as the algorithms that is being used, or the AI algorithms, artificial intelligence algorithms for self-driven cars and stuff. Google is also launching self-driven. Marketing is, of course, we spoke a bit about competitive markets and stuff, but intelligent automation, AI-based tools, they do a lot of in the marketing area as well. As an example, if a customer orders a pair of shoes, the algorithm sends out a notification to the customer for similar products. That's what you do when you do a, all of us do order by Amazon or Flipkart and stuff. So it keeps on prompting you if something similar comes up. If you are great fan of woodland, so it will keep propping woodland boots. At the same time, it will also show up, red tape of similar kinds. If somebody is wearing red tape, fan of red, even if the person is not fan of red tape, but similar color or similar combination or the kind of style that you are using, it will pop. So they are also the kind of areas where you can see, you do see now and in future also. So these are all today and tomorrow. Of course, we will see a lot in the defense. All of us had heard recently that there are real robots being used along with humans for for actual neutralization of or for actual combats with the terrorist. So with uh, there is, of course, there is a lot of ethical concerns about it, but AI-powered weapons are the next arms race that is going to happen. And I think a lot of things are happening there in China on the same lines. I think that it was recently in news. They are doing a lot of deployments of such kind of technology as well. Um, at the same time, of course, US is also one of the front runners on that, having different AI and analytics being implemented, typically image recognition, facial recognition, and any kind of surveillance or algorithms like which will bust any attacks being planned, whether it is surveillance on networks or it is a facial recognition or something similar. Then comes, of course, the lifestyle. I think all of us, either we have it or we have used in the past. Google Home and Amazon Alexa or Siri or stuff. So they are nothing but the AI enabled the chatbots. They just help us with all kind of information we want to hear about from. Impact. Okay, so that was all about what's happening in the different industries currently, as well as this is what the trend is going to continue for times to come. Impact of AI analytics in government sector. That's what we will quickly move into. Unless anyone has any question on the previous section, then we'll move to the comment sector. I think no questions. Yeah, we can always ask questions towards the end of the session.
We can carry on next.
Oh, okay. So impact of AI and analytics in government sector. So over the last 2 years, I have been with CSM Technologies. So I love the way AI analytics is being implemented in the government sector. Yeah, before that, just background. I think it's how and what Niti Aayog. I think all of you know this is the government think tank that has created a report on AI and implementation of AI and analytics that has to be done, artificial intelligence, to upgrade Indians and ability to secure quality jobs and get into research and different things. So this is a something, a direction from Indian government's Commerce and Industry Department, likewise as a task force, and they want the AI to do the economic transformation for India, and they are putting in a lot of focus out there. Niti Aayog. So I spoke about a use case. So this is a use case I'm showing. So we at CSM Technologies, of course, with and for the government of Odisha health department through IT department, of course, we were working for IT department of Odisha. And this was way back in March 2020 when COVID was pretty new. So what we did is we collaborated with a few of the organizations, CSM, along with Deloitte, Salesforce, Diagnostic Robotics, that is an Israel-based company, and IIT Bombay, of course, with CSM. All of us came together, and with the guidance of IT department, and that's when we came up with the R naught factor, or the infection peak infection rate that was for Odisha, and how the infection is going to spread when the laborers would be, because labor migration was happening from different places, from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Punjab, everywhere, for the laborers from Odisha were coming back. How that is going to spread, a time series, we graph we created. That is when we use some predictive analytics. The tool that we used with was SAS. Of course, SAS was also part of this and one of the key stakeholders. So we had multiple rounds of discussions, and then we came up with the SIR mapping. That is how the infection spread happens over the time. It keeps on going up and down in waves, as we have been now coming up. And we started predicting the death rate. This was for Odisha, and we were pretty much accurate in the prediction that was done way back in March. And Odisha was among the very first states in India who had done a massive IT intervention when the COVID spread started. And we were the top three states at that point of time who were recognized by central government that the way we were doing things. Of course, so we were just a helping hand or supporting the government. Government was driving it. So as you can see, this was about the relaxation level. That how the lockdown relaxation level will increase. It demonstrated that if the lockdown is relaxed, then there could be increase in people getting infected and all. So, and if it is reduced, then that infection reduces. Those kind of analysis we did. Then we had done some susceptible population, like we did. It could be migrants who are susceptible. At the same time, there were also people returning from abroad who were susceptible. So it was pretty much new at that point of time. So we did that. This was there were much before time. We had kind of estimated how much of bed capacity is there, how much is required for each of them to sustain contain the COVID spread, and also at the same time address the people who are going to fall sick. I'm just showing this so that you get an idea that how the analytics actually helped in real life, the analytics and AI, our own very own state, because this is a Bhubaneshwar chapter. So I'm giving the example of Odisha, where we were able to contain it, and Odisha did one of the best in containing, of course, thanks to the government of Odisha as well. Naveen Patnaik government has done a great job in containing it, and at the same time, technology played a big role out there. SAS and of course IT department with IT secretary being showing the path with his leadership, and then CSMV as an organization that we were also kind of totally into it. So this is how the peak active cases were, the number of hospital beds that was required was recommended, access or deficit bed, ICUs, number of ICUs that was needed, number of ventilators, oxygen, all of that. Everything recommendations were coming from the systems, and we are sharing with the IT department. IT department was, we are closely working with health department, and we are also continuously working with health department, and that is how we were able to ensure that it is this state is well taken care of, test kits or the same time oxygens and stuff. So this was the doubling rate, how soon it can go and come down. So that was a bit about health in government sector. That was a real life case, a use case. This is another use case of what is being done in the mining sector using analytics and AI. So it can detect any suspicious activity if there is any mines which want to suppress its say for example iron grade can be of 65 grade, 55 grade, 58 grade, depending on the grade of the ore. The higher the grade, the more royalty the the lessee has to pay to the government. And if they don't pay, if there is any suspicious activity, then there has to be alert generated. So how can there be a suspicious activity? For example, if there is a mines which has been over the years, over the last 5-10 years, it was showing certain grade and suddenly the grade has come down. So that could be suspicious because if a particular mine, uh, it is less likely that a 65 can become 58. It might become 63 with some justifications. But if there is any skip or trend or there is change of lessee owner, or if, as an example, a particular mine has been using certain power to generate certain amount metric ton of ore or million metric ton of ore, and suddenly there was the power generation was doubled, but the declared ore was same, then there is something fishy happening. So those are just examples. So using technology, we are able to find out any kind of potential fraud or risk, and we save money for government. This is another example of what happened. This is a recent one. We did crop analytics. So the good news is Odisha was a 2 decades back it was a deficit, and today it's a surplus state for paddy. And at the same time, when it's surplus, one of the key factors are, of course, the MSP thing of it. The MSP is higher than what like the rates are. So what our system does or analytics tool does, it authenticates, that is whether it authenticates and then verifies to ensure that there is no suspicious activity that happens, and then finally generates certain reports. So what are those kind of activities? We'll talk about it. Before that, what we use here is we use a decision support system, we use satellite imageries, and we use a mobile app, and we use some analytical dashboards to find out any patterns, anomalies, crop patterns, suspicious activities. And this crop one as a solution was done for government of Odisha, and is being implemented in 29 districts. So far it has been done for 7 districts, and we have already seen results. And now the other governments are like government of Madhya Pradesh and government of Rajasthan, all of them, they want a similar solution, which we have done for government of Odisha. So it's like we find out what kind of, so when a farmer declares that he is a, whatever the kind of farmer the person is about the land and stuff, they're able to, one token is generated and they're able to sell that paddy generated to the government. That is how it happens. So the kism is there and geofencing and other things is being done, and there could be some areas which is declared as a farming land, but it may not be a farming land. A farmer might have misrepresented to sell, buy from some other place and sell it to the government at higher rates. So those kind of things keep happening. And what we did is, see, as you can see here, these are satellite imageries. So there were certain lands which are not actually cropland. So particular timestamp when it was declared as the rice was been cut from those areas and brought into the mandi for sold for to the government, there were actually no rice. It was, you can see imageries, they were all brown fields, they were not green fields or something. When, because we keep on taking imageries every with timestamps. So if 3 months back it was supposed to be green and they were just plain land without any crop, that means that is something fraudulent happening. So there was, of course, AI logic has been put in, and crop identification, supervised classification. We have used a lot of ML, machine learning algorithms out there to remove any ambiguity. And once we put across an alert for a particular doubtful or suspicious land or crop or stuff, that is then a physical verification is being done using an app, where the app captures real life photos, and there is a geofencing that the coordinates are exactly the same coordinates from where it was declared as a land, from the land. And a verification is done, physical verification by the inspector, and the RI inspector wants to doubly sure. And in our case, the most of the cases where it was declared as suspicious, they turned out to be actually fraudulent. So it can, things like can be there, that sudden growth of registered farmers. Last year there was say 10,000 in an area, and suddenly there are 50,000. So it is quite unlikely in that village or block there was sudden increase of farmers, or farmer versus sharecropper ratio, farmer dropout status, kism wise. So land, there are different kind of land. It can be forest land or agriculture land, or a as a gharbadi they say, or whatever. So those kind of changes cannot happen very frequently. If there is a different ism, and then the declaration is different, then there is prediction that can happen that there's something funny is happening there. These are the kind of analytics that were generated based on the image processing. So we had the satellite images, and which we processed, satellite images and videos which we processed, and find out what are the suspicious ones. So statistics, we saw that as it says, reported plots, reported area, registered of farmers, paddy yield, paddy value of paddy, reported farmers by relation. So those kind of statistics were there. In analytics, we saw that there were suspected plots as good as 8,90,000 suspected plots were there. And total area of suspected plots in acres, it says more than 7 lakh acres. Associated farmers were more than 2 lakh. And this paddy. So this was kind of the optical image analysis was shown. Then again, it showed certain suspected plots. Then there was, after optical image analysis, then there is a field survey has to be done, and the field survey was done. And interestingly, the field survey actually showed the misrepresented plots. So as good as 83,000 plots were misrepresented, and associated for 57,000 farmers were misrepresenting the same. And so this was, you can see, okay, so this is just an example of, yes, view of the reported and misreported plots, where paddy exists and where it doesn't exist, and where it is doubtful, and no paddy crop. So you can see even somebody, there is just a mountain or a piece of land with nothing, they have been declared, or maybe it will be cricket field, they are declared as a paddy land, and then say they want to sell it to the government. They will just get that rice from somewhere and sell it to the government at higher prices. So we were able to bust all that. This is how the KPI results, these were suspected plots and lands, and valid no paddy land versus not a crop land kind of a thing. And what we did is finally, as you can see, we actually saved, enabled, not saved, I would say. We stopped from a huge loss to the government, or saved a massive amount for the government. So government is pretty much happy with this that is being done. As you can see, 1,500 crores. Okay, that's a big money. Okay, we are done with this, the government analytics and AI in government. And the last topic, so these are just a snapshot. Of course, there are many more emerging technologies out there, but these are the emerging, top emerging technologies. Blockchain, of course. We are also doing certain blockchain implementations, artificial intelligence we spoke about, virtual reality and augmented reality. We have implemented augmented reality in mining, and VR and AR is going to be a big thing. this year and next year. Cyber security very important. 5G network, of course, and Internet of Things almost everywhere there is IoT these days, and there will be more and more machine learning, subset of AI. So they work together. Financial fintech or financial transactions where a lot of AI, ML, and analytics stuff is there. Cloud computing and voice assistant. So these are the top emerging technologies 2022. And that there, of course, there are a lot of other edge computing and other stuff, mixed reality and stuff. But yes, these are the top for 2020. That's all I have for now. So mm, I think how do I unshare any questions? I'm happy to take. How do I unshare it? I don't know. Uh,
No problem. Thank you,
Thank
Nilavdi.
you. Thank you, Prashant. Mm,
Just right.
Okay, stop sharing. Yeah, now I think it has
Yeah.
stopped sharing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah,
Thank you. That was that was really in-depth understanding about the data analytics as well as the AI. And
yeah.
yeah, it was really nice to see how government is leveraging this technology, and very happy to see there is some benefit for you got it for the government too. That's a really nice case study which you shared. Mm. So, guys, any if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Meanwhile, uh, I just had a one question. Now, in future, you can see everywhere there is a data analytics and AI thing going on. So, what you would like to have, three important points you would like to suggest who would like to uh, want to take up this as a career, how they should be able to start, how they would like to start.
So Prashant, the question was for me.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
What points you could like to give, like for the newcomers, like they want to take up this particular as their
Okay.
career into data analytics.
Sure. So my recommendation is, in fact, everybody should, if you have an opportunity, should take up AI as a career, analytics and advanced analytics and AI, because with time, it's going to be more and more AI. Whoever is in the IT world or the IT field, even non-IT field, they will also get impacted with AI. But those who are in the IT field, that traditional way of doing IT will change. It is already changing.
Right.
It's all automation, RPA, and AI. So it's better you get into that wagon of AI, and well,
Yeah,
there are
but
a
there
lot
are
of folks that can
so
automate.
much
Yeah.
vast technology it is there. So if they want to start, which are the things they could start with, like some tools, techniques?
Yeah.
You have
So I think,
anything for the
yeah, sure. So anyone who wants to get into AI, so I would rather call it data science because there is a lot of interchange will be used. So first and foremost is everybody should have a very good solid understanding of data. And if you want to call it as a language, then start with SQL. Somebody has to be really good in SQL. Everyone who is in analytics AI, a SQL doesn't go away anywhere. You have to be uh, real good at SQL queries. Okay, that's starting. And then you can always choose, once you are into data science, then you can always choose your tools. First of all, some open source languages like Python or Scala and stuff. Python typically people love these days, so you can always go with Python. That becomes your entry point, for machine learning. Python becomes your entry point. And then with that, you also learn some emerging tools, not emerging, rather market leader tools. So one is open source and one is the OEM or the proprietary tools. For example, the ones in the data world, the data science world, SAS, of course, it is a market leader. There is SAS. There is SAS has different flavors to it: SAS Visual Analytics, SAS Visual Investigator, SAS Enterprise Miner. So don't get confused with the SAS Data Integrator. So basically, when I say SAS, it is typically for analytics, and any other purpose, ETL and everything can be part of that. SAS is there. IBM is there. They are also market leaders. They have everything from data integration to analytics to AI. The AI part of IBM is Watson. There is Tableau. Tableau also has their own ETL and analytics. And the best part is all these tools, and there are of course many more. you can also import your Python script where you have written your machine learning, different algorithms, random forest, or whatever you have written. Typically, you can always import that into the tool, and that your ML will run along with these tools. So starting with SQL, Python, and then the tools like Tableau, SAS, Power BI, or IBM tools, Oracle tools. Of course, Oracle is not a leader as such in AI, but yes, it's a robust tool. So within Oracle, ODI is a data integrator, and then Oracle Analytics Server is another for stuff. So this is what my recommendation. That will be the first step, and more importantly, whichever sector or industry you are in, understanding the domain is more important, because if technology is 50%, 50% is the domain where you implement it. So they're equally important.
That's a really valuable point. But before ending, I had one question, and I think it's on. We can see everywhere now AI and data analysis. But recently there was a meme coming around where actually it says it can't beat the humans. I just want to know about that thought on that. The thing is that recent Australian Open, when Nadal came from nowhere, like three down, and he came and won the mm, won the Australian Open. Here you saw that it says that AI can't beat the humans. So what is your thought on that? It actually failed the whole AI analytics as per the humans. What would be your thought on a lighter note? I'd like to have your thoughts on
Yeah,
that.
my thoughts. See, I am a human. I would love humans to always win and
Yeah,
outdo and outperform AI. Having said that, see, what we saw in movies 20 years back,
yeah.
they are more than that today. So in times to come, the machines will get smarter and smarter, and for that matter, though they will have certain limitations so that it doesn't get adversely impact the human race, but at the same time, in certain matter, it will be much smarter than humans. They are in certain aspects. For example, calculations. A human cannot calculate as fast as a supercomputer. Forget supercomputer. Even your regular computer can calculate much faster than you. But it doesn't think on its own. But with artificial neural networks and machine learning and the AI, it also starts thinking on itself. When we say thinking, it learns from its mistakes. I think there was some use case about Tesla that it was tested for the roads for self-driving. So it did everything. Wherever red light, it will stop, and green, it will go, and humans, it will stop, and all that. So somebody threw a stone at the wind shield, and it broke. So again, they fixed it, and next time when it went, he threw again. It put the brakes. They couldn't break it. So it learned it. So machines
Okay.
also learn.
Okay.
Of course, it doesn't have feelings like humans. And if we eventually somebody says they want to put feeling, it will become very filmy. But at this point of time, a lot of capabilities, they are at par with humans, and with time will only say that how smart they become. Most important is for the knowledge world and the creators, the inventors, scientists, they have to be ethical. That is very important, and that is our responsibility, all of our responsibility, and the people who are on the forefront, the research people, to ensure that nothing gets smart. Of course, everything gets smart and smarter, but not to adversely impact uh, humans or even animals or anything else. So that is
So
something to do with ethical things. Yeah, that's
very
my
true.
answer. It's not in a plain yes or no, but there is no such yes or no
Yes,
answer for this question. But very good question, Prashant.
I can. Thank you very much. And I can see even Prashant Gulwadi, who's in, so he says, machine will still not have a soul. So, yeah, that's a very interesting comment.
Yeah, that's a good
And
one.
I, yeah, and I would like to thank Nilabi for making time in his busy schedule and sharing this insightful talk on the AI and data analytics. On behalf of the Agile Network India community, I thank you, Nilabi. And also, I thanks all the participants for being patient and attending the whole day event.